I don't use a lot of hand tools. I generally have one each of the things that I need, and that pretty much includes the hand planes that I have. I've only got 3 actually, and one of those is this small block plane that I bought about 4 years ago, thinking that it would be better than the old one that I have, which is in pretty bad shape and really needs to be fixed up. And by fixed up, I don't mean restore. I'm not going to polish it or anything. I'm just going to repair it. But first up, I want to repair this particular plane right here. The knob that adjusts the depth of cut for the blade came completely off the shaft, which it was just pressed onto. So I'm kind of limited with what I can do here. The shape of the knob really makes it very difficult for me to drill through to put a pin through that, and that would be my first choice. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to try some slow set epoxy, and I'm going to squeeze it into the hole of the knob, and then I'm going to pound it right back onto the shaft again with this scrap wood mallet that I have here. Of course, I had some squeeze out that I tried to clean up with a paper towel, but to get the rest of it, I'm going to take some sawdust from my bin down here and work that in around it, and the excess epoxy will be absorbed into that. Now it's going to take a full 12 hours for this epoxy to reach full hardness. But in the meantime, there is another issue that I can fix with the plane that I didn't like. It's where you lock it down. This little tab here is sticking up too high, and I keep knocking it while I'm using it and loosening up the plane. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to bend that down so it's lower profile, I guess you could say, and won't be in the way so much. Another option is to actually grind some of that away, because I don't think it really needs to be that big. The one on my old block plane is nowhere near the size of that, and it's way, way lower, which I think is way better. Anyway, I'm going to grab it with the vice grips and bend it down and see how that works. And then even though the epoxy is not dry, I can still put the thing together and try it out and see how it works. And it seems to be okay. While I'm at it, maybe I should fix up this plane as well. But even though there are parts broken on it, I can still use it. After all, look at that knob on the end. That hasn't come loose. You can see in the front here, the knob is missing. And what I did was I saved the screw for when I found the time to make a new knob for it. But you know what? I've used this plane hundreds of times without that knob. The other minor issue with it is the nail that I have holding on the locking toggle, I guess you could call it. I don't know the proper name for that because I'm not one of these hand tool gurus. But anyway, the nail is there to act as an axle for that toggle thing. And it actually works well. It doesn't need to be fixed. It's working just fine, so I'm going to leave it. The only big problem this plane has is that there's a part broken off that engages with the slots on the back of the plane blade. It's like a little tooth that sticks up. Now the material that this thing is made out of is cast and is very brittle. So it's really no wonder that that broke off, especially considering how much abuse this thing has seen over the years. So to fix that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a slot in there, right where that tooth used to be, and I'm going to make a steel tooth to replace it that just glues right in there with slow set epoxy. And I'll leave it to dry overnight, and it should be as good as new tomorrow. What I'll do with that epoxy that's squeezing out there is I'll cut it off after it starts to harden up. If I try to wipe it away now, I might pull some glue out of the joint, and I don't want that to happen. It's easy enough to wait a couple hours and just cut that away. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that one. Not a whole lot to it, I know, but the ability to fix your own tools is a skill that's mighty handy to have. And in general, any skill that you develop will help you in just about any other thing you want to do. You'll not only save money, you'll also save time. It takes longer to go out and buy a brand new tool than it does to fix the one you already have. I gave the epoxy overnight to dry on the knob, and even though I have a lot of faith in how well that's going to hold, it certainly doesn't hurt to go the extra distance. And I was thinking about it, and I do believe I can get a pin put in there if I'm very careful drilling it out. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use a bigger bit, and I'm going to drill in on a bit of an angle. And what I'm trying to do here is make a pocket, I guess you could say, to center the smaller bit. I'm not using any oil with this because I need to glue the pin in after, and the oil could weaken the epoxy, and I'm not drilling all the way through. I only need to go in deep enough for the pin to key the knob to the shaft. Now for the pin, I'm going to use the drill bit that I just drilled the hole with, and I'm going to glue the shank of that into the hole and let that set for a few minutes, and then I can cut it off with the angle grinder. Like I said before, probably wasn't needed, but it really didn't take that long, and I definitely feel better about it. I know for certain that this knob is not coming off again.